In this video, we're going to be creating a polar bear standing on a road using GIMP version 2.10. First, we're going to have to find a photo of a polar bear and a road. To do this, open up your web browser and go to Google Images. As you may be able to tell, not all photos are created equal. Some are different shapes, and most certainly different sizes. As you can see, this photo is only 640 by 480 pixels. To fix this, go to Tools, Size, Larger Than, at least 2 megapixels. I'm going to use this photo of what looks like a dancing polar bear. Right-click, Save Image As, and something you can remember. And save it where you can remember. Next, you're going to have to find a photo of a road. As you can see, there are many different roads, many different angles, and you're going to have to find one that'll fit your image. However, like the polar bear, not all road images are created equal. So go to Tools, Size, Larger Than, 1600 by 1200. I'm going to use this photo of the road. As you might have noticed, this image at first didn't look very good. That's because Google was showing the small version that they have for thumbnails load. These thumbnail size photos load much faster than full resolution photos, since they have a lot less data in them. However, it's not very useful for art. This, on the other hand, when you click on it, is the full resolution photo, and is very good for art. So we're going to right click, Save Image As, a name that you can remember, and in a location you can remember, and save. Next, open up GIMP, File, Open as Layers. Select the polar bear and the road. If you get this pop-up, click Convert. In this scenario, the polar bear was the first image that was imported, so the canvas fit to the polar bear size. However, the road is much larger than the polar bear, so the road is being cut off. To fix this, go over to your Layers tab and bring the polar bear on top of the road. Now, go to the left side and use your Scale tool and click the polar bear. Scale the polar bear down so it can fit on top of the road image. Ensure that the little chain link is selected to make sure you have proportional editing. This will ensure that your polar bear does not accidentally become a chubby bear. Scale. Now use the Move tool to move the polar bear on top of the road. Make sure it's not in any of these extra checkerboards on top or bottom. Now, you can go to Image, Fit Canvas to Layers. The canvas has been resized to fit the road. Now, we go in with the eraser, make it very, very small. As you can see, as I'm hovering over the size, there are two different bars. The top bar will just go with my mouse. This is good for big adjustments. However, the small bar doesn't keep up with my mouse, so it's good for granular increases. I'm going to make it very, very small. Now I'm going to go to the bottom of the screen and zoom in. Make sure that you have a low hardness as to kind of fade the edge of your erasing. This head is a little too small, so I'm going to size it up a little bit more. Much better. Now I have to go all the way around the polar bear, erasing it and cutting it out. I just completed cutting out the polar bear. Now, go over to your tools and select the big black dot for your brush. Increase the size dramatically. Now, you can finish erasing the background. Make sure not to erase any of the polar bear. Now that I've finished cutting out the polar bear, I can go over to the Move tool and move the polar bear to where I want it. Now, if your image is slightly sideways or too small, feel free to use the scale tool or the rotate tool. To scale, select the scale tool and click on the polar bear. Ensure that this link is selected. This will keep your image proportional and make sure that you don't accidentally make a fatty bear. We don't want fatty bears, we want polar bears. So make sure this link is clicked. You can select any of these squares on the side and drag the polar bear in a direction. So make the polar bear bigger or smaller. To rotate, go over to the rotate tool and select the polar bear. You can either click and drag the polar bear or use the slider here. Now, let's save the project so we can reopen the project later and continue editing. Go up to File and Save As, and save it in the appropriate folder. I'm going to call this Polar Bear on a Road, and save. Now, this did not export it as an image. This exported this as a file that you can open up later and continue editing with. To save this as a proper image, you're going to have to go to File and Export As. From there, you'll notice that it's going to save as a PNG, and make sure you save it in the correct location. By saving it as an image, you're saving it as something that you can open up on your phone, social media, your parents can open it, or more importantly, Google Classroom. So, hit Export, and if you already have one, replace it. Chances are you're not going to have to do much in here. So load defaults and export. This may take several seconds depending on your computer and how many edits you have made to the existing images. And you're done. You now have a polar bear on a road. Congratulations!